Something ended inside you, and you didn't need words to know it. There was no argument, no explosion, no dramatic moment, just a quiet realization that something you once carried no longer lives in the same place within you. And that silence felt strange, not painful at first, just unfamiliar. Like standing in a room after the noise has stopped, noticing how empty it suddenly feels. Most endings don't announce themselves. They arrive gently through subtle shifts. You stop reacting the same way. You stop caring as deeply. Things that once demanded effort now feel distant. And instead of clarity, there's confusion. You wonder if something is wrong with you, but nothing is wrong. This is simply how internal change begins quietly, without asking permission. When something ends inside, your energy is the first thing to leave. Not your responsibilities, not your routine, just your emotional presence. You still show up, you still function, but something essential is missing. And that absence creates discomfort. Not because you failed, but because you're no longer aligned with what you're repeating. This is the moment many people misunderstand. They think motivation disappeared. They think discipline is the solution. So they push harder, demand more, force consistency, but effort cannot resurrect what has already completed its purpose. And the more you force yourself to stay, the heavier everything becomes. Exhaustion is often the price of ignoring an internal ending. Your system is wiser than your thoughts. When something no longer belongs to who you are becoming, your inner world slowly withdraws energy from it. Not to punish you, not to confuse you, but to protect you from living out of habit instead of truth. Energy doesn't disappear randomly. It leaves with intention. You may feel guilty for this change. You may tell yourself you should be grateful, stronger, more committed, but guilt appears when growth doesn't match old expectations. Ending something internally doesn't erase what it once meant. It simply means that chapter gave you what it could, and keeping it alive now would require pretending. Notice where the tiredness appears. It's never everywhere. It's specific. Certain conversations, certain roles, certain patterns. That specificity is important because it shows you exactly where alignment has been lost. The body and mind communicate through sensation long before the intellect catches up. You don't need to label this ending yet. You don't need conclusions or plans. Awareness is enough. Simply recognizing that something ended inside already releases tension. Clarity doesn't come from rushing into the next thing. It comes from fully acknowledging what is no longer real for you. Many people fear endings because they associate them with loss. But internal endings are different. They are acts of honesty. They mark the moment when your inner truth no longer agrees with your external life. And that disagreement cannot be silenced forever without cost. If you feel emotionally distant lately, don't rush to fix it. Distance is not always disconnection. Sometimes it's integration, a quiet recalibration happening beneath the surface. Something reorganizing itself so you don't repeat what you've already outgrown. This phase often feels empty, and emptiness scares the mind. But emptiness is not absence, it's space. Space where something new can eventually emerge. Before direction appears, there is always a pause. Before clarity, there is stillness. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are in transition. And transitions are rarely loud or clear. They feel like standing between breaths. Nothing to hold yet, nothing to chase, just awareness asking you to slow down and listen. Let yourself grieve what ended internally, even if no one else understands it. Even if nothing official changed, you are allowed to honor invisible endings. They shape you just as deeply as visible ones. You don't need permission to move on internally. You don't need approval to feel different. Growth is not a group decision. It's an intimate process between you and your awareness. The moment you stop resisting this ending, something subtle happens. The heaviness softens. Your breath deepens. You begin to feel present again, not to the past, but to yourself. This is how clarity returns. Not as a sudden answer, but as calm. Calm that tells you you're no longer fighting yourself. Calm that doesn't rush you forward, but steadies you where you are. You don't have to burn bridges. You don't have to make dramatic exits. Some endings are quiet closers that happen entirely within, and that is enough. Ask yourself gently, pause, where am I still present out of habit, not truth? That question alone can change how you see everything. When something ends inside, it's not the end of you. It's the end of a version that carried you as far as it could, and honoring that allows the next version to arrive naturally. Energy returns when honesty replaces effort, when awareness replaces force, when you stop trying to feel what you no longer feel. Nothing is wrong with you for changing. Nothing is broken because you feel different. This is alignment, restoring itself quietly. If you felt this shift, trust it. You don't need to understand it yet. Understanding comes later. First comes recognition. Something ended inside you, and that ending is not failure. It's completion. Completion creates space. Space creates clarity, and clarity prepares you for what comes next without force. If this message resonated, comment I recognize the ending. And if you want to continue this journey of energy, clarity, and reflection, subscribe to Oráculo de Hermes.